Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Folium from CZT Tomas Padros. Okay, so this one, well, as in Tomas Padros fashion, you can do this a number of ways. And I love that about what Tomas does. And if you take a look at his Instagram, and I will try to put a link in the description section to that, because what I have here is just from Tangle Patterns. But I'll put a link in the bottom for that, in the description section, I should say. I say bottom because I'm picturing it's below the video. Everything he does, he's just always examining and playing with concepts, and it's fascinating. All right, so this one, we're going to start off. So he shares really a couple variations, but let's start with the basic. The basic would be, say, it could be in a grid. It could just be boxes all by themselves, however you want them. All right, like so. Then, on each side, we're going to bring in, let's just start from here, a little line about center. And this is a trick that I was realizing. You want to bring it up so that way there's some room in the center. I would err on the side of shorter rather than longer, because this next step, if by chance you're way up here in the middle, because the middle kind of stays open, I should do one. Well, if I did one that was too long, one of the things that you can do is this next part. Oh, let's see. Let's pretend this one is too long. Oh, let's do it last. Okay. So at the end of these, we're going to put just a little tethered orb, or a little mini flux shape, whatever you want to think about it, and fill it in. I like the concept tethered orb with this one because we are tethering it right here to the end. So using take off and land, so I'm tracing over it just a little bit, come up, make a little bulb, right, and come down. That's essentially it. And I want it to merge, not like that, but that's okay. All right, let's do this last one. And like I said, you want to leave a little bit of a opening in the center. Now, say you have one that's a little too long. Guess what? You don't have to have the orb come off of the tip. You can start it wherever, land it. This one is not necessarily the greatest example, but you can see. So I've incorporated the end. It's kind of in the middle here. And because we're filling it in, we can do that. It doesn't matter. Okay? So let me move this since I'm seeming to want to work up here. And then you can adjust these because it's a fill-in, right? You can play with the thickness, up to you. All right, then. This is a beautiful use of rounding. So on all of these straight lines that we have coming off the edge of our box, we're going to do some rounding. And rounding is simply like this, rounding off the corner. And we'll round off the other side. And we'll fill it in. And then also, similar to this, if you need to adjust the shape, we'll see how it looks towards the end, because we're going to do this to all of them. And I highly recommend do this as you're comfortable. Apparently my hand is being versatile today. Usually I like to use the curve of my hand, but that one I didn't. It likes to get daring every so often, the hand does. It's okay, we let it. It has to grow. And this is one of those that just don't worry about anything. Just don't. because it'll all end up really neat in the end. And like this, these certain places, as I've kind of mentioned, you can course correct if you want to adjust. This is why I say it's a beautiful use of rounding, because you can really see the power of doing it. We add it a lot of times, and it's nice to add that little bit of thickness, but this, we've created these petal-like shapes just by doing rounding. Okay, then, last step, and actually here's what I'm going to do, because I left that just thin. I'm going to just trace, go over it a little bit, just to have, because it looks just weird having it be that thin in comparison to everything else. So I'm just going to redefine it a little bit. And this one too. This one had some little bumps in it, so I'm happy to do that. Oh, I like it so much better. Okay. Then, last step is we're calling these a flick line, but it doesn't have to go just like that really fast. You can kind of go slow if you want, but just lift your hand up lift your hand and the pen off of the page as you get to the end of where you want it, because it creates that taper, which is so neat. All right. Then we could add some shading. And I really like how he did this. Let's just add some. Ooh, let's go this side. Oh, and I think I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Wait. Well, now, looking at what Thomas did, I'm going to copy it. Okay. It's almost like mirroring where the graphite is going. Okay. And then you can almost fill in, and you put a little bit in the center there, kind of have some going into the center. Oh, look at how neat that's looking. You know, I'm kind of keeping it darker towards the edge and just lightening up as I go in towards that center a little bit. But essentially, it's kind of, because I'm filling in a big area. And look at how neat that looks. Let's go a little bit more. Whoops. Really, really cool. Okay, now. That's one way. The second way that he shows is more freeform. So no box, no grid. And this one, I mean, it's a similar idea. So this one, we're going to start with just these lines, you know, aiming towards, but they're kind of just floating in the center. So you want to leave opening here and opening here. And again, whoops, you could err on the side of shorter and a little ways away from the center. This will be a perfect example of what we're going to do. And the steps are similar to this. So first those lines. And this one, because this one went right close to the top, I'm going to incorporate more of that in. And it's such a nice course correction. So that way you're not stuck with, oh, I must put an orb here. No. You decide how open you want this and just make the orb to fit. Now, the only trick is if you went really far, but then, you know what, it's still, you just do the same thing. Nothing matters. It's all good. You know, and the more organic it looks, the more natural it looks. And like a human being did it, not a computer. And we like that. Okay. Actually, these are making me think of matchsticks. So put your matchsticks right there in the middle. And then two, I've made mine a little bit more elongated, and then just looking back at Thomas's, his are more bulbous, just, you know, more of an orb. It's hard to do that here. Let's just, yeah. I can kind of, sort of. And that's the nice thing too, is like if you want to adjust the shape a little bit, I still want it to, you want it all to blend in. You don't want it to look really weird. But I can make maybe just the tip a little bit more. Sure. There. Okay. That one is huge. Oh, well. All right. Then this one, oh, then he has us putting a little dot. So it's kind of like in the middle of these two. Don't worry about lining it up with anything. Because I imagine that you're working on a bigger, a bigger tile, a bigger sheet of paper, whatever you're working on. But just kind of eyeball in the middle of this section. And then it's kind of an S shape. So we're going to use the takeoff and land concept. And we're tracing over this just a little bit. And we're going to land on this dot. Like that. So it's an S. S-ish. And then from this side, same thing, going to this dot. And, it ends up looking like the onion dome type of shape. But, we're really just doing it on both sides. Now, don't worry about anything until you get them all done. Because I look at some and I'm like, oh, that's going to look... And then when you do the other side, it's like, oh, never mind. And you know what? If you miss, the little dot that you put in here, well, it's actually a good reason to make it kind of light. But then, too, just also don't worry about it. I aim for it, and then we see what happens. Like that. Last one. There we go. See, that one I missed. It's all good. All right. Now, everything else is really the same. So we still do that line coming down the center. You know what? I'm going to do that. Let me do that now because I want to show you. This is this additional step in Tomas's samples. I was like, I don't know. It was a. There are some things that, like, at the moment, it's like, okay, does not compute, and then I just move on. But I wanted to take a look at this one. And because, too, it's nice to just kind of dig in and say, oh, okay, I get it. So if you saw the ones that had more like 3 leaves in one, here's how it does it. And it's going to apply this way too. On this one, it doesn't matter, which you do it. So I thought, well, let me just show it here. So pick a space on the leaf, and this is my interpretation of how he did it. Pick a place down, and it's almost like we're doing our little fancy fescue there. Fill it in, and then rounding. And if you curve it in, you kind of take care of the rounding on the one side. And look at that. And then, so what I'm finding is, and as looking at his, here's your leaf or, shape, and then we're curving it towards the center, both directions, and of course down. So this one is going to be like that. And again, try not to worry about what it looks like right away. Wait till it's all done, and then, see where you want to adjust and things. Okay, and we'll do this on all of them. And of course, play with, how long, how far down, where on the side here do you want it? So many things that you can play with. And then also too, how thick do you want it? Because some of his, it's, the whole thing, it looks rather thick. And it's just something that you get to play with. Also with this, because in his variations, you will see that, and this in the for more inspiration link, you don't have to, especially with this one, although I dare say you could probably do it, well, it might be harder on this than here. You can have as many, oh no, you know what, it's not going to matter. However many of these beginning lines, however many you want, you can have, because he's got some that have, let's see. Well, he has one that has 3, has one that has 1, 2, well, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up to you, whatever you want to do. It's all good. So even more fun that you get to have with it. Making this one bigger, because it's, see if we can make up for some of this space here and just have fun with it. And then, like I mentioned, you can go back. Well, this is the line. Oh, there we go. This is somewhat one of those that I have to like not look at for a minute and then go back, and I'm gonna make all of these a little bit bigger. And then what's neat is, and let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna make this rounding just a little bit more. And then maybe, trace over those lines, because we don't want it to look like, I just put that in there. So if you're feeling that way, just go over the lines. It's okay. So, and see how you can shape all of that. And then, of course, if I redefine it, it takes out those little bumps from adjusting it. And what happens is then you end up not really seeing that, here, there's a little, something in the, stuck in there. It'll start to look like, it is a leaf, and there are 3 sections. And just, like I said, just have fun and play, and what actually, too, might help, especially because we're darkening this in, is to maybe go a little bit more dark around the outside. Maybe he's got one on here that looks just fine. And you can play with this too. I mean, that's what, if these are a little bit thicker, it separates it just a little bit more. And I like it a little bit more. This is one that if you wanted to, you could fill in, all of the background with, the black pen or something like that. But you don't need to. I am finding redefining these is definitely helping, because it's just it's a continuity or something that just seems to help with it. Oh, see, look at that. Oh, and then he also did a little, besides we have that line there. Oh, let's see in which direction. It was kind of like this direction. So we'll call it sort of aura-ing, going along with the curve. Oh, this one needs to be redefined. Going along with the curve. Oops. Of the, the outside curve there. There we go. And shading can be similar. Completely up to you. Let's see, where did that go? I had a lot of graphite left on there. Let's do this. I'm just gonna, let's see what's left on here. We'll do it similar to this, kind of one side of that, of the line. And then we'll mirror it over here. Like, what did I do? Oh, that's what I did. I don't know. And 2, you can just make it up. It's all good. I'm going over. it's just neat. Truly is. Just have fun. Fill in more of that side there. Oh yeah. But let's get rid of. I don't like it to look. I don't like to see. Oh, here's a line of graphite. So I like to just kind of smooth it out a little bit. Anyway, that's just me. Just me. All right. Super neat, yes? All right. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click on the like button. And if you like it enough to see more, I'm going to go a little bit darker here on these tips. See, it covers that up too. If you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. So while you're clicking like, please click on the subscribe as well. I mentioned the description section several times, so there you'll have resources. And besides the step outs, nice. If I do say so myself, there are links on ways to connect with me if you wish. I have a link to my website. You can follow my blog, Facebook page. You can follow me there. And Facebook, you'll see daily Tangle posts and classes. So if you're interested in taking classes, or just, they're really, a lot of them are just more tangling with a bunch of other Tangle addicts. We're all a little crazy for Zentangle, so we have a lot of fun while we do things. So come and join us. I have a lot of my classes are free, but I do have some that are paid. And it is very clear because on the graphic I put up at the top, well, no, if it doesn't say anything, then that means it's free. I should say that because I don't think I put free. I just, like Tangle Time, it's the same graphic all the time. I should change that at some point here. Because I've using it for a couple years. Let's see. But the ones that have a fee, that is very clear. All right. Also, if you'd like to be part of the conversation and fun and sharing of your Zentangle work, I have a link to our private Facebook community group. There are 4 questions that you must answer in order to gain entry. So just so you're aware of that. And what else is on there? That's all the important stuff. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.